cannot stop wearing this Merit tinted lip oil. I just cannot stop wearing it. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Hi. Yay, we're finally doing it. I know that some of you have been waiting literally months for this video. I'm going to share with you some things that I bought with my budget for beautiful things over the course of this past spring and summer. So I was on a no-buy from mid-January until the beginning of April. And then April, May, June, and July, I've bought some stuff. I think that my approach here is going to be that I show you the things, like each thing one by one. And for each thing, I'm going to try to explain why I feel like it was a good decision for me, given that I'm someone who loves lots of beautiful things. Like there are hundreds of beautiful things that I would love to own, but I can't own them all because I have a limited amount of disposable income. So why did I narrow it down from like the vast array of things that I could have spent my budget on to each one of these individual things? And if I feel like each thing was a good choice, which I pretty much do, why specifically do I feel like it was a good choice? If this is your first time to my channel, then welcome. I'm really glad that you're here. This is kind of a fun one to start with me. My name is Hannah, and as I said, I'm a passionate lover of beautiful things. It's fun for me that this has become a big part of my life, reviewing beauty products, talking about clothes and fashion and style, but I always try to keep perspective here on my channel and, in my own life about the position that beautiful things occupy in a life. I think that they can add value and joy to a life, but I don't think that contentment in one's life comes from beautiful things. I think that contentment comes from within, and I always try to remember that and to telegraph that. So if that sounds good to you, I hope you will subscribe. Let's go ahead now and get into the meat of the video. Okay, first things first. Some of you may know that there are impending nuptials in my life, right? Joe and I are planning to get legally wedded to each other in a civil ceremony coming up pretty soon. But here's the thing, I'm not really sure. I am doing some planning. I am doing some filming around that, but I'm doing it on Patreon. That is all Patreon exclusive content. So if you'd like to know what I'm thinking of wearing for my wedding, if you'd like to see me do like a trial run or 2 or 3 of bridal makeup, and you want to see my earrings and my veil and maybe even the garment that I'm planning to wear, all of that's going to be in some Patreon videos leading up to the day. I'm sure that after the day, I will post like a picture on Instagram or something, but there's just some particularly juicy Patreon content going on right now. And you can become a patron of mine for only $1 a month. I will leave the link down below. To me, that has been the most fun shopping over the past 4 months. Like those are the things that I feel the most excited about. And to me, they are outshining everything else that I'm going to talk about. And that's why I felt compelled to put them right up front. But that hasn't exactly been my personal budget for beautiful things either. That has kind of been like a wedding budget that Joe and I have decided on together. So in a way, it's a whole separate thing. And the second thing is actually the second thing on my list that I have here of the things that I've bought. The second thing is actually something that I bought before April, right? So I was I technically bought it kind of like while I was still in a no-buy, but I'll tell you the whole story. What it is a portable dance floor for me to practice tango. And I talked about this like pretty early in the year. It must have been March or even February. It was like I actually think it was February. It was like quite early. It was quite soon after my initial January shopping season. And then I had kind of gone on a no-buy. And then I realized that there was this thing it's actually not even makeup, skincare, clothing, or homewares, right? It's like not even one of my historical problem categories that I have to budget really carefully for. It's like a tool for exercise and art, So that's part of why I felt okay just going ahead and buying it. I just got to the point where I was like, I really, really want to dance. I really want to practice dance, and I have to get this dance floor so that I can do that, because there's not really a space. And I mean, not really. There's truly not a space in this house anywhere where I could do that. But the precipitating event that led me to actually pull the trigger on that dance floor was that I won $200 in a poetry contest. It's like I'm playing Monopoly over here or something, but this really did happen to me. I mean, it's not random. I am a poet by trade. Like that's my most serious career, actually, although right now it's not the career from which I'm earning my living. I do spend a lot of energy and time working on my poems, my manuscript, and I do sometimes send pieces out for publication. If you don't know this about me and you're curious and you want to read my poems, just go to my website, hannahlouiseboson.com, because there are a lot of poems that have been published that are accessible, in various places on the internet, and you can click through from my website and read most of them. And right now you can even click through and read the one that I won this money. I didn't win the grand prize in the contest. It wasn't a huge thing. I think it was an honorable mention, but it came along with $200 and I was like, I'll take it. And guess how much the dance floor cost? $200. So I was going to wait until April to get the dance floor. But when I won this prize and I got these $200, I was like, I'm just going to spend these $200 on the dance floor. I must confess that I haven't been able to do as much tango practice as I would have liked, just because I haven't had as much time as I would like to have. But my schedule is about to open up a little bit more. And so I have done a bit. It's not like I got it and it's just been sitting in the garage or something. I practiced quite a number of times on this dance floor, and it works beautifully. It's awesome. It was a whole thing because I was worried that my heels would get caught on the seams between the tiles. I was worried that it would be junky or that it would peel or that it wouldn't feel nice. I was worried it would be too slippery or that it wouldn't be slippery enough. There are all sorts of ways in which it could have gone wrong and not actually been good. But it actually turned out to be something that I can practice on. And I did practice on it pretty regularly for a while, and then I've just fallen off over the past couple of months. But I am hoping to get back to it soon because my schedule is about to shift, and I'm going to get a little breathing room back. And that's as soon as I can take a breath, it's the first thing that I want to do. So it ended up being a good choice just because it works and because it's a tool for art and exercise and health. I often feel like it's a double-edged sword when you decide to spend some of your budget or some of your windfall poetry prize money on a tool for health or exercise or even art. When you spend your budget on something that's going to facilitate something else that you want to do, it can be tricky because sometimes you're deluding yourself into thinking that you'll do the thing. You know what I mean? If I had gotten it and then I never practiced tango on it, it wouldn't be a good decision because it's I got it because I purchased a fantasy of myself. I would have purchased the fantasy of myself practicing tango a whole bunch. It's if you, buy fancy weights for weightlifting or fancy workout gear, activewear, sexy activewear. And you're if I can just get these leggings, then I'll definitely be working out every single day because I have them. You're trying to buy habits that you wish that you would instate instead of just going ahead and instating those habits. So that was the risk that I was taking when I decided to get this dance floor. And it's actually proven to be something that's pretty useful for me. I've probably practiced tango maybe 50% as much as I would like to on it, but I don't feel like it's over yet between me and this dance floor. I feel like I'm going to renew my efforts, and I feel like it's going to be a long and beautiful relationship. Okay, now we're getting into the garments. I feel like almost all of the rest of what's here are garments. Is that right? There's maybe one accessory. No, there's a little bit of accessories towards the end, but first we have a number of garments to get through. This first one is something that you've already seen if you watch my channel. It's this Kantha robe. I love it so much. I love the color. I love the weight. I love the embroidery. The weight it's 100% cotton and it's double layered. So it's just two pieces of cotton. It looks like it's quilted, but with Kantha, it's not quilted. It's just that the stitching is holding together two layers of cotton. So what that means is that it's a little bit heavier than a single layer of cotton, like those very lightweight cotton robes, like the print fresh robes, for example. It's a heavier thing than that. It's more sturdy, more kind of all seasons than that, because it's something that can feel cozy and warm if you're feeling cold, but it's not like a quilted winter robe or something. It's very, very hot right now. I feel like we're going through the hottest spell that we're going to go through this year in LA right now. And since it's gotten quite hot, like really, really hot, it has felt a tiny bit too hot for this just the past couple of weeks. I'm still wearing it. Like I literally wear it every day. I'm wearing this thing on my body probably 50% of my waking hours, y'all. Like that is how my life is right now. That is how it's been going down. And I have continued to do that, but I felt hot. Like I probably should just put it aside for a couple of weeks and like let the temperatures just cool down a little bit and then start wearing it again. I got this from an Etsy shop. I bought it from an Etsy shop that's based in India. I love it so much that I ended up purchasing one for my sister and one for my mom and one for my grandmother, and all of them love it. Like it's such a smash hit in terms of gift giving, in addition to being really a smash hit for me in my life. It's long. I'm going to try to roll some footage that shows you how long it is. It's not a short bathrobe. It's like a long robe, like down to my mid calf, which is great because I'm quite tall and so is my sister and so is my mom. And it's hard for us to find robes that feel like luxuriously long on us. So that was another huge point in its favor. And for what it is, I felt like it wasn't all that expensive. I will definitely link it down below. So the thing that makes this a really good buy for me is that it combines beauty with practicality. I feel like in terms of the all-weather weight of it and the fact that it's 100% cotton. And so it's something I can put on, for example, when I'm a little damp right out of the shower, and it absorbs water rather than repelling water and trapping water, which is like what polyester robes do. But at the same time, I feel like it's truly exquisitely beautiful. Like it's more beautiful than any robe that I could possibly conceive of. It has this quality of luxury, but it's sort of like an unpretentious luxury because it's not as though it's green velvet with fur trim or something like that. What I'm trying to say is that it has this combination of real beauty and exquisite quality, and to me, something that feels like fashion, but it's also exceedingly practical in every single way. And the practicality has not been compromised for the beauty. It's just that the beauty is like a cherry on top of the practicality. And so that's what has made this a really good buy for me. And I was hoping it would be that, and my hopes have been proved to be valid by how incredibly frequently I wear it. Like I wear it all the time, and that's great. And now that those words have left my mouth, I can just go ahead and tell you that everything that I just said about practicality and beauty, it's basically the recipe for almost all of these purchases. And I was planning for this video to go through each individual thing one by one and like explain why it was a good choice. But I feel like if I do that, I'm going to be like a broken record because, well, here's what I'll do. I'll just say now, you will see as we go through that everything I'm talking about has that, and I might be touching on it through each one. And I'll try to be more specific, with the other garments about why they're practical, but just know that that's kind of been the name of the game for me in terms of spending my budget, my disposable income this spring and summer. So let's talk about another garment, but this is like kind of the most exciting one. This baby. This top. This was like the biggest splurge. Is that right? Yeah, this was the biggest splurge. And it was kind of towards the beginning. So I had been on a no buy for, 3 months, and I had just started to buy things for myself again. And so I kind of felt like the world was my oyster. I was like, if there's something, that's perfect. Like, it's time, I can go ahead and get it. It's by this brand Doen that I am really interested in. They don't usually do prints like this, and that was what really caught my eye. And also the silhouette. And this is it, on video. But what I will do is I'll insert an Instagram picture of myself wearing it so you can see how it fits, because looking at it on the hanger is really not the same as looking at it on the body. This represents for me a little bit of like a going out on a limb, because when I saw it the first time, my heart leapt and I was like, there's just something about it. It's just so it. Like, it's just so it. It has that it factor to me. And it's cotton, and it's got all of these ruffles and this detailing. It's like cropped, but it's not too cropped. And then it comes down to a little bit of a point at the front. So even though it's cropped, it covers the center of the belly, which I think is a really clever design. There's just all of these little things about it. And I love the fact that I've washed it. I've worn it so many times. Like, I take every opportunity to wear it. And I've washed it and worn it. And even though it has this very statement fashion quality, it washes beautifully. And every time I wash it, when it's still damp, I wash it on cold on the gentle cycle. And then when it's still damp, I take it out and I straighten all of the ruffles by hand while it's damp. I just kind of like press them and pull them and get them all to be laying flat and going in the right direction, because it also has all these pin tucks in the front. I make sure that none of the pin tucks have been crushed in the wrong direction. I like press it and flatten it with my hands while it's damp. And then I hang it up on a hanger to dry so that it dries in its proper shape. This is what they mean when they say reshape while damp. You know what I mean? I always reshape it while damp. So it's very practical. And that was another thing that appealed to me about it. I also like that it's got these big puffy sleeves, but it's very lightweight. And so it works for summer, but it's like there's a lot of fabric and it's statement in that way. Everything about it is just very appropriate for me. I was a little bit worried about this, like the quilted thing in combination with the puffed sleeves and the sort of high frilled collar. I was worried that it was going to make me into kind of like a parody of myself. So I had this moment when I first saw it and I was like, because I feel like I tend very like Anne of Green Gables, just like in a vacuum, I can feel very prairie girl, very like hippie Anne of Green Gables, like old fashioned Laura Ingalls Wilder in the Green Gables girl, you know. Many of the choices that I make and have made over the course of my life, fashion choices, are to just slightly undercut and combat that. You know what I mean? Here we have all the piercings, the ears. I feel like back in the day when I was like 21 years old and I pierced my lip, that was basically why. I was just trying to be like, I know Laura Ingalls Wilder or something. So when something is too much that, I'm a little bit like, maybe I shouldn't. But then I just was like, Hannah, YOLO, like you want it and you are going to love wearing it. And I just like let go of that sort of obsessive like calibration of, you know, perfect purchasing. And I was like, you want it, you have the budget for it, just get it. And I got it. And I'm so glad I did it because I love it so much. And once again, it's the balance of practicality, washability, the fact that I can wear it over and over again. It's a combination of that with the fact that it's so statement. I feel like with the robe, the Kantha robe, it wasn't like statement. It was just like the pleasure of having something that you wear around the house that's your loungewear, the pleasure of having that be exquisitely beautiful, balanced with practicality. And with this, it's like this slightly over the top, very colorful, ruffly statement blouse, but it's that combined with practicality. Okay, I bought a pair of jeans, which I almost never do. Although, come to think of it, I actually did buy a pair of jeans in January. When, like the last time I did a video like this, I was up here being like, I bought a pair of jeans, which I almost never do. I had previous to that just the one pair of a gold jeans with the ripped knees. Then the Ulla Johnson jeans that I bought from Poshmark in January, they're really, really great, but they're so heavy and voluminous. And I've worn them a bunch of times. I've continued to wear them a bunch of times. It just feels always like a bit of a production when I put them on. And so I was kind of looking for some really slouchy boyfriend jeans, you know, is what they're being billed as, but those really slouchy, kind of loose from the hip, straight from the hip, super relaxed, but with a super, super high waist to wear in the way that I want to wear those Ulla Johnson ones, but that would have a little bit more of this like super sturdy, just wash and wear, like beater quality. I was looking for something that would be the equivalent of my like high-waisted oversized sweatpants that I was wearing through the winter, but in the summer, to wear with t-shirts, to wear with cotton blouses. And I spent some time looking around and I ended up trying out this pair of Levi's, which I'm actually wearing today. They're called the Levi's High Loose. They are exactly what I was looking for. I'll stand up and show them to you, but I feel like the Instagram picture actually is going to do them better than like you seeing them, because this isn't a very good shot. But I'm wearing them, so I'm like, I might as well do it. And I'll tell you, as I roll this footage of myself dancing around wearing them, that I wear either like a 27 usually or a 28 in jeans. And I got these in a 28 because I really wanted them to literally be oversized. Like there are inches between my waist and these. I feel like a lot of people buy jeans, they want them to fit tight on their waist and butt and hips and legs. Like they want the jeans to fit them. I don't like that feeling with denim, and that's why I don't own very many pairs of jeans. And the jeans that I do own are kind of like this. They're like loose. They're sort of like standing up on me instead of like holding on to me. So I think that I'm probably a 27 in these jeans properly. Like if the designer at Levi's were selecting my proper size, they'd put me in a 27. And I think that that would probably pinch my waist more and fit my butt more. But if I had a pair like that, then I would be wearing them the way that I wear the Ula Johnson ones. Like I'd be wearing them for special occasions or when I'm putting an outfit together to like go out or something and I want to look my best. These, I don't necessarily feel like I always look my best in them because they are big on me. And so they kind of give the illusion that I'm bigger than I am, that my bottom half is bigger than I am. But they're really comfortable and I reach for them constantly just to throw on and wear around the house. I think that they do look really good with tops and t-shirts and blouses and stuff. Like I like how they pair because I like the pairing of something like a cotton blouse with a pair of slouchy blue jeans. So in terms of fashion and how they look for fashion, I think that they look great. In terms of flattering my body perfectly and just like, you know, doing my assets a service, they don't do what like a different pair of jeans or a size 27 or maybe even a 26 in these jeans would do for me, but that's not what I wanted them for. That's not what I care about. So I really love the pair that I got and I really love the size that I got them in. Okay, it's time for the dresses. It's time for me to tell you about the 4 dresses that I bought over the course of these 4 months. And let's go in order. This is also from an Etsy shop. And it is a shop that does custom sizing. So I was able to ask for the waist to be quite long because I have a very, very long waist. I was able to ask for the dress to be floor length on me because I'm a very, very tall person, and midi dresses often hit me at the wrong spot. Maxi dresses are often not maxi on me, and mini dresses often literally show my bottom. So it was really exciting to be able to have this amazing dress. Like I can't even with this. And this was also at an amazing price. I want to say it was like less than $60. No, not 60. I think it was like less than $70. And it is 100% cotton. This is also something that I have washed and worn. I've probably washed it 5 times by now. I love it so much. I'm also going to stand up and show you the whole thing. It's not too fitted. This is another thing that I was able to request because when I ordered it from Etsy, I sent in my measurements. I didn't want it to be too tight on the waist because I wanted it to have that sort of like tailored, elegant classiness of a dress with like buttons, that's sort of like a shirt dress. It's basically what it is, a shirt dress. I wanted to have that tailored quality, but I wanted it to be comfortable in the shoulders and waist, not too tight, again, so that I would wear it. So that I would wear it casually, like wear it around the house. And that's what has pretty much happened. I just like can't stop wearing it. When it's clean, I just like want to wear it. It has pictures of Frida Kahlo on it. Did I say that? Did I not say that? It's a dress made out of a cotton fabric that's Frida Kahlo themed in its print. The Etsy shop was fantastic to work with too. Very clear and thorough and consistent communication. It was exactly what I had hoped it would be. They do a beautiful job. And I love to support a small independent business selling on Etsy. Speaking of a small independent business selling on Etsy, the next 2 dresses. This was the first one. And here's the thing, you guys, I did that thing where I loved a thing so much that I bought another one. And this is something that I've learned my lesson about. It almost every time backfires on me. I rarely love the second version as much as I love the first one. And I actually think in this case, I probably will continue to love the first version more, but I'm definitely not sorry that I got the second one. I will explain. Here's the first one. And I've worn this on camera a couple times and I've gotten a lot of questions about it. This is one thing that people are always like, what is that and where did you get it? I got it from an Etsy shop and it was so affordable. I think it was like $25 or $30, and it is a caftan. So it's casual loungewear around the house. Some people wear this kind of thing to bed. Some people wear it just as like a bedroom garment, but I wear this kind of thing as a dress. I love a caftan as a dress. It's made out of recycled sari fabric. So it's an old cotton sari that somebody took and cut up and sewed into this caftan shape and then tie-dyed. So the color, I believe this sort of salmon color is the original print of the sari fabric with these like little, this little pattern on it. And this color, this red on the sleeves, is like the edging of the original sari fabric, but the black dye is from it being tie-dyed after it was made into a caftan. It's so comfortable to wear when it's super hot. This is amazing for LA summers, and it's amazing for like running around the house, taking care of the baby, chasing her around the yard. I wear it literally as soon as it's clean, and then I wash it again, wear it again, wash it again. It has been such a lifesaver to me this summer, and it's really like the epitome of a house dress for me, but it also, funnily enough, I find myself always wanting to wear it when I go out because I feel so myself, so comfortable, kind of glamorous, but very laid back in this. I mean, gosh, especially taking into account the amazing low price, I feel like this is possibly the best buy of the entire season. And for that reason, and probably especially because of the low price, I bought another one. I bought this one from the site like weeks, if not like a month or more than a month after I had bought the first one, and I'd like worn it and washed it a bunch of times. And I was seeing how much wear I was getting out of it, and I was always wishing I had another one. And this one, I really love the cream color. It too, is made out of an old sari, and you can see the original color, the yellow from the original sari. But they're all one of a kind because, each one of them is just made from an upcycled old sari. And this fabric is much thinner, much more lightweight. It may not even be just cotton. I think it actually might be a cotton silk blend. It didn't specify that in the listing, but I've spent over a decade of my career working with fabric and buying fabric and sewing fabric. And I'm pretty sure that it's like a cotton silk blend, which I think that a lot of saris are also made out of. So it kind of makes sense. And so it has that total sheerness. Like you can see, right? You can like see the plants through it. You can like see my face through it. And so, you can see my body through it. Like you can see, it's basically a swimsuit cover up. And I have worn it as a dress a couple of times. Like I'm okay with that. I have a couple of dresses that are semi-sheer. It's not something that I'm squeamish about, but if it were more opaque, I would be getting more use out of it. I'd be wearing it more. It also just feels a little bit more delicate. So that's just to say that with this shop, it's a little bit of a crapshoot because you can't tell. I couldn't tell from the images that this one was going to be so much more sheer than the other one. I'm not sorry that I got it. I'm not sorry that I got it. And, I love the way that it looks. I've also worn this one on camera and gotten just as many questions about it. And it will be amazing as a swimsuit cover up if I ever need to cover up a swimsuit. But I do like the first one better, and I do wear the first one more. It's like, this is me now. This is like me now and for the rest of my life, I feel. Every summer, it's just going to be these until they fall to pieces. Oh, I forgot to do the part where I say why it was a good buy, but I think it's kind of obvious, right? Because it's, again, that thing. It's like fashion and practicality combined. It looks like, I like it when a thing looks like $1 million, but, and here, listen to me, I'm about to give you a very elegant segue. It looks like $1 million, but it feels like you could just wear it to bed, right? I like it to feel like pajamas or to feel like a house dress, but to look glamorous. And that leads me to the final purchase that I made in the dress department. This is also one that I wore on camera recently. It's a Hill House Home nap dress. I've been keeping an eye on this company for a while. They came across my radar, over a year ago, like when they were coming across everybody's radar. Basically, it's this company that designed this dress, the Ellie nap dress, that is smocked in the bodice. It has these really cool, like puffy sleeves, but they're on straps. So it's like straps with like a little puff on it. It looks kind of like a little bit birthday cake princessy. That's why I went for the black Swiss dot, because I feel like it plays down that birthday cake quality and just plays up the like slightly gothy glamour. But it's soft cotton, soft crisp cotton, in this case semi-sheer Swiss dot cotton, and has this like flouncy tiered skirt. And it's called the nap dress because it's kind of like a cross between a nightgown, something you'd wear to bed or wear to take a nap, and a dress, something that you would wear to live your life and go to the grocery store and do your work and be on Zoom calls and film YouTube videos and cook dinner and chase the baby around the yard. At least my life. So basically this company is selling the quality that I have been saying is the quality that has led me to narrow it down to each of the pieces that I ended up spending my budget on for this entire spring and summer. So you can tell why I was sucked in. There wasn't quite the right color for me though in this dress. Like every time I looked at the site, I was like, I'm not totally sure. I'm not really convinced. And then I had dinner with a friend of mine and she was like, way in love with the nap dresses from Hill House Home. She said it's like all she ever wears, and she really sold me on it. And the next time they launched a collection, they had this black Swiss dot, which is just like perfect for me. So I got it and I don't regret it. It's been a really good dress to have. There are a couple of things about it for me personally. I feel like because I have such a long waist, the smocked part is really quite short. It ends up being almost like an empire waistline on me. Like the smocking comes to just underneath my bust and then it's like hanging straight from there. Not quite poofing out from there, which is what I was worried about, but it would be much more flattering on me if the smocked portion were like twice as long, honestly. Like if it came down all the way to my actual natural waist rather than just stopping underneath the bust. So I don't feel like my most powerful and womanly and like embodied in my body in it. I always feel a little bit like princess cakey in it, like, you know, black Swiss dot princess cake. I also find the smocking with the elastic in it to be not quite as comfortable as one would hope. I like that I can wear it with or without a bra, but when I'm wearing it, I don't feel like I'm wearing my nightgown exactly. I just feel a little bit more like I'm wearing a dress because the smocking, it's not tight or binding, but it's got texture in it. You know what I mean? And for me to really feel like something is like a nap garment or a sleep garment, it has to be really quite soft. And it's not exactly quite that soft. The real saving grace, the thing that's going to always make me glad that I bought this is the silhouette of the shoulders. I absolutely love the way that those sleeves puff out and frame the face. I really love the stark square neckline. I love the combination of that glamorous silhouette with the ease and comfort of the dress. So those are the 4 dresses that I got, and gosh, I love them all. Okay, let's talk about the few times that I have gone in person with my body and my wallet to consignment shops, although the one time I went to Nordstrom's, but mostly to designer consignment shops and gotten the chance to like look around and try stuff on and decide if I wanted to buy anything. And I bought a couple of things. So one time was actually when I went home to visit my family. So my sister lives in Washington, D.C. So often when I'm going to fly from LA to visit my family, even though they're in North Carolina, I'll fly to Washington, D.C. It's easier to get like a direct flight. The tickets tend to be cheaper because it's like big city to big city. So I'll fly to Washington, D.C. and stay with her for a night, and then we'll drive down together. And that way we get to spend more time together, and, you know, we get to spend the drive together, and that's really great. So we did that this time. I flew to Washington, D.C. We drove down, we, you know, hung out with my family, rah, rah, rah. Then we drove back. And the last day that I was in D.C., it was like we'd driven back the night before. The following day was the day that I was leaving, but I wasn't leaving till the evening, and my sister and her partner were like working all day. So I went out and I went to my favorite designer consignment shop, maybe in the country. There's a really good one in Seattle, but one of my favorites, and it's called Secundi, and it's in DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C. I went there, I tried on a number of things, and I bought one garment. I'll hold them up, but you just cannot get the full effect. I will explain to you what's going on, and maybe I'll try to find a picture, something that I can put in. It's a pair of pants. There's nothing to see here. Sorry, my zipper is down. There's nothing to see here. It just looks like a pair of black trouser pants, which is what they are. So they're by this brand called Rouge. And when I was looking through all the pants in this consignment shop, this really caught my attention because Rouge also makes makeup, and several of you have been like wanting me to try the Rouge makeup. They make these lip palettes that are like powders. I think they just came out with them. It's really intriguing. Maybe I'll do a self-sponsored review of that. But they also make clothes, and I had looked on their website before. It kind of reminds me of a more French version of Reformation or something like that. So I was like, I'm gonna try on these pants. I went and put them on, but they're a size 44. I think that they're the equivalent of a US like size 12 or something. And in these pants, I would probably wear like a size 6 because they're supposed to be high-waisted, sort of slim fit trousers. But I loved the fit of these on me because even though they're several sizes larger than like my proper size in this pant, they're not so big that they fall off of me. They sit down on my hip bones, and then they're quite slouchy and baggy. So they end up looking kind of like balloon pants or like actual like boyfriend style trousers on me. They really look like they're designed to be a really oversized, slouchy menswear pant. And they're also incredibly comfortable because of that. So I went around and around a little bit there. I mean, they weren't, it's consignment, you know what I mean? So they weren't like massively expensive, but it wasn't as though they were $30 or something. I think they might have been a little bit more than $50. And you know, for me, that's kind of like a choice, like a decision to spend a chunk of my budget. And so I was like, do I really want to spend a chunk of my budget on these pants that aren't my size? But I was trying on a lot of stuff in the store and I kept putting them on again and putting them on again and putting them on again. And every time I put them on, I just really felt good. And they also are cotton, lightweight. They also can be washed in the washing machine and hung out to dry, like line dried. And I just felt like if I got them, I would wear them nonstop. And so I got them, and that has proven to be true. I've like basically worn them nonstop. I love wearing them. And the thing that's fun about it is that I'll often put them on just to wear around the house, again, to like do some childcare, cook, work, film. Like I'm wearing them the way one wears sweatpants. But they have this chic, slouchy, like trouser menswear styling about them. And I really like that. I like it when there's this intersection, if you can't tell by the video so far. I like it when there's an intersection between comfort and wearability and practicality and fashion. And these pants are that. So I'm glad I got them. I did look them up on the Rouge website when I got home after buying them. And I think that it's like their trouser that they make every season. I can't remember the name of it, but it's something like the Ellie or like the Jolie or something like that. There's like a name for the trouser. And I feel like if I ever need a pant that is high-waisted and slim fitted, like if I ever need a pant that's like that, but that actually fits me and is more tailored the way it's supposed to be, I might look into getting a pair of this exact pant, but in my actual size, like in the US equivalent, or in the equivalent of a US 6 or 8, because they're beautifully made and I like the cut. Like it's hard to find a truly high-waisted pant, and this is a truly high-waisted pant. So that was the time that I went consignment shopping when I was in Washington, D.C. And then there was one weekend, it was like last month, one weekend when I went to some thrift shops and designer consignment shops in LA. I like cleared the afternoon for myself and I just went out with myself and just went hunting for some special things. And I did find a couple of special things, although one of them I found it then, but I can't find it right now. I'll put some pictures up on the screen. I found this pair of sunglasses. These were at a Crossroads, which is like a clothing resale place. They were at a Crossroads in LA. And I was looking for sunglasses because I do have a pair of sunglasses by Key that I bought some years ago at Nordstrom Rack. They're great, but over time they've like loosened. And so I was keeping an eye out. I just don't like when it feels like sunglasses are going to fall off my face. I like it when they're like holding onto my head. So sort of keeping an eye out as I was looking in these thrift shops and consignment shops for a pair of sunglasses that I would like, but that was really inexpensive and that was being resold. Like I didn't want to go out and buy new sunglasses, but I was looking in the cases everywhere I went to see if there was a pair that I liked that was like, you know, $15 or something. And I think that these yellow sunglasses, they're from a brand called Wear Me Pro that makes really inexpensive but beautifully designed sunglasses to begin with. Because again, I've like looked them up since then. And I think the sunglasses, if you buy them new, are like less than $30 most of the time. So these were being resold for like $9 or something. They're yellow and they have yellow frames. I don't think that Wear Me Pro makes this style anymore, but I really like it because they're not really heavy duty sunglasses. Like if the sun is really bright, then I have to wear my Key glasses, but they block out enough sun that they're like good for driving, you know, if it's just a little bright out. But then they're not so dark that you can't wear them inside as well. And so what I find is that I can like wear them from outside to inside and inside to outside. as like a fashion thing, but it also works for the sun. But inside, I just feel like I kind of look cool. Like I just look like I'm wearing these cool yellow sunglasses rather than looking like I'm pretentiously wearing shades indoors, because you can see my eyes through them because the lenses aren't that dark. So that's been really, really fun. I've actually really loved wearing them. I've worn them every time I've gone out since I got them. And I got two other things on that journey. I got this t-shirt, which is by the brand called Show Me Your Moo Moo. It says out of office, and it was brand new, but it was, being resold at a fraction of what it costs if you buy it new. And I just love it. I don't have that many t-shirts, and I find that I do end up wearing the ones that I have to bed. So I was like, I'm just gonna get this and add it to my summer pajama wardrobe. But then what happened was that I've been wearing it just normal because I love it so much. Although I'm not out of the office right now, am I? And then this is kind of my crowning glory from that day, but I haven't been able to wear it yet. It is a really beautifully made cotton lace top by this brand Cezanne, which some of you have even reached out and been like, I think you would love Cezanne based on like what I say that I like and what you see me wearing. And I've looked on the website a couple of times, and it does look like the kind of stuff that's up my alley. It's just, it's a little bit expensive for me to buy new, and nothing has ever really like leapt out and been like, you have to have it. I've always kind of kept my eye on them. I do think the products look very beautiful, but I've never wanted to buy anything from them. But it was fun to come across this. I like this lace, this like open work cotton lace that has these sort of like star shaped or flower shapes on it. And it has these ruffles, but it's just done in a really delicate and balanced way. You can feel the quality in the cording in like the hem and the cuffs and the collar. And I put it on and I just felt very like relaxed, Victorian, but also sexy because it's sheer, and it looks really great with like a nude bra or a black bra underneath. And I love that kind of thing. Like I love it when something is kind of sheer, but also has this demure quality to it. And I feel like I can wear it with like the real confidence of the fact that it's structural and that it has these like statement qualities about it. But I also feel like there's some sensuality to it. So it's not like super revealing, like look at my whole body, you know what I mean? But it's got both. I just love that. I like when things kind of cross the masculine with the feminine or the demure with the sexy. I just like it when something's striking that balance. Even though it's completely sheer and, a breeze would blow right through it, it's been too hot to wear this. One of the main reasons that I was like, I'm definitely getting that is that it's going to look so great on camera. Like this is the kind of top that's perfect for wearing on YouTube. And as soon as the weather cools down, it's going to be in rotation. You're going to see me in it a lot, but it hasn't been cool enough yet for me to wear it. Okay, let me quickly tell you about my trip to Nordstrom's. I'm just like putting it in here because it's sort of relevant. I spent a little bit of my own budget on a couple of things I bought at Nordstrom's. Most of the stuff that I bought there, I bought 2 pairs of earrings and a little bit of underwear, basically. And most of the bill was covered by Nordstrom's because they offered to let me pick out a couple of things to wear on my channel right now because they're trying to promote their anniversary sale. And I was like, great, because I really wanted some new underwear. And I thought that I was going to be really practical and just get underwear and practical things. But when I was there, I was walking through the accessories department and I saw these earrings and literally gasped out loud. I think that I'll probably have already worn them on camera when this video goes up. I can't remember what video. I think it was like a trying new makeup video or something like that. But I talked about this experience in that video. So I was walking through, I saw them, I gasped, and then I put them on and I ended up buying them. But what I didn't say in that video is that they come in 2 styles, and I ended up buying both styles. Like I ended up essentially spending the entire amount that I was allowed to spend on these 2 different pairs of earrings. And then I also got a little bit of underwear. And so that was why I ended up going a little bit over budget and spending a little bit of my own budget. So this is how they work. This part, the post goes through the ear, and then this is the earring back. And so when your little earlobe is squeezed between them like this, it looks like the bar is going through your ear. So this is the other style. And again, you guys, like if it was just me spending my own budget, these are pretty pricey earrings. I fell so in love with them that I might have talked myself into spending my own money on one pair, but I would never have gone and bought 2 pairs. These are basically PR. Like I'm basically showing you some PR that Nordstrom's gave to me, but it's just stuff that I selected myself. I just wanted to put them in this video because they are from one of the 2 shopping trips that I went on in person. And because I picked them out myself, it was kind of like the experience of deciding that something was worth my money, because I did pick them over everything else that is available at Nordstrom's. But in terms of like spending decisions, this wouldn't have been a wise spending decision for me because it's like a lot of money's worth of earrings. So that's the pearl version, the dangly pearl version. That's the feather version, which I find the feather version to be kind of like more wearable. I feel like they're more casual. They're a little bit more like youthful and fun, whereas these pearl ones are very formal statement, glamour statement, I feel. The really fun thing though that I figured out about having bought both of these is that I can mix them. So there's like the feather in front and the pearl in back. And there's pearl in front and feather in back. Which one's better? I think I kind of like pearl in back right now because the back part of the pearl earring is so long. Needless to say, I'm very grateful to Nordstrom for facilitating me to select and buy these beautiful earrings. I mean, it was a real treat to fall in love with something like this, something a little bit expensive, something that would definitely be like outside of my budget, but then to be able to get them. So, you know, thanks Nordstrom's for that. And then the underwear that I ended up buying, you guys, I decided to try a couple of garments from Skims. It's a whole thing. I'm wincing because it's like a thing that I never thought that I would do. But I've been on a long search for comfortable underwear, and I think that I might actually make a whole video about it that hopefully talks partly about the mixed feelings that I have about it, but also is a review of the garments that I decided to try. And I did spend my own budget on that. I spent my own budget on a couple of pieces from Skims, but I'm gonna wait and let you know what they were in the video that's all about Skims. Skims is Kim Kardashian's underwear line, if you don't know, because I didn't know. When I first came across them, I was like, wow, this looks absolutely incredible. And it looks like it's designed for curvy people. And I'm a curvy person. And I was like, maybe this is perfect for me. And then I realized it was Kim Kardashian's underwear line. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure whether that is for me. And then like a year later, I was like, maybe it is for me. And that's the intro to the video, but that's not this video. I'm going to film it later, after I've given the Skims like the full and complete test. I want to be really thorough. I don't want it to be like a first impression try on haul, which is all it seems to be on YouTube about Skims. It's just people like pulling brand new Skims out of bags and putting it on without ever having washed it or even worn it and being like, oh my God, I feel like my best self. But that's not what mine is going to be. Okay. I'm going to wear them for like 2 months and then I will report back to you. Oh my gosh, here we are at the end. That's it. Except for the very last things, the most recent thing that I have purchased. Most of all of this stuff that I've been telling you about is like pretty far in the past at this point. I am sort of like, I feel like nearing the end of this portion, like this season of spending for me. I feel like these are the things that I wanted to buy in the spring and summer, and I bought them, and there's nothing else really that's sort of like, you know, tapping me on the shoulder and being like, what about me? Weren't you going to buy like an X or a Y or a Z? There's not really anything else like that. I might need to replace my sandals because I kind of just have this one pair of sandals that I've been wearing for 4 years here in LA. So I might need to do that. But other than that, I feel like I'm kind of done for the season. And then we'll see about the fall. But the last thing that I did with my budget is that I replaced some of my little pieces of jewelry. I had been wearing this kind of bigger hoop with a green gem in it. I've been wearing that in my little tiny cartilage piercing way up here. And it's so first of all, it was starting to get a little worn out. It's also kind of big for such a small spot in my ear. So I replaced it with a really, really nice, small, thick hoop that fits right over the edge of my ear. So this little tiny bold hoop, as she calls it, this little hoop is from an Etsy shop as well. It's from an Etsy shop called A Day Like. Again, love to support a small, independent, woman-owned business. And it, unlike all of the other earrings in my ears, and unlike any other jewelry I've ever had, it is 14 karat gold, or I guess any other earrings that I've ever had. I've never had an all gold earring. And so it was a little bit more expensive than you would think a tiny little huggy would be. Like, I think it was about $50, but I wanted to put it in there and just forget it and have it be there forever, like for years, And I really like how it's statement because it's like this thick, almost like a bar, but it's also delicate in its own way. And I feel like I can just leave it there and forget it. And, the thing that was going on with the other one that I had up there was that the plating was wearing off of it and it was getting all rough. And I feel like that's even happening a little bit with this one right here. So I might replace it at some point with like a nicer piece of jewelry. These ones down here, I'll switch them out, mess with them. Sometimes I take them out. Sometimes I switch them out for other. I have, a handful of little huggy hoops that have come in PR from time to time. And sometimes I'm switching them out. But these ones up here, I'd like to just leave them and set them and forget them. So I couldn't be more pleased with the way this has ended up looking. I think that it's perfect for me. It's absolutely perfect. I really, really like the designs. And I am glad that I decided to get the more expensive one and the nicer one, the one that's going to last longer. Because I was looking at some little tiny huggies about this size from a bunch of shops that were gold plated or that, didn't have any gold in them at all, that were really cheap. Like I could have just spent $5 or $8 and gotten something that would have been cute and gone there and been fine. But I feel like what I did was I spent the $50 and this is the last one that I'll ever have to buy, So I'm really glad that I did that. And then at the same time, I got a couple of other little ones to sometimes wear in these lower holes, but I didn't get fancy solid gold ones. I got less expensive, just gold plated ones. I couldn't fill all of my ears with stuff that's as expensive as this one. I might switch them out one at a time, but for now, I was only able to get this $50 one. And then these ones were a couple of these are things I've had for a long time, but a couple of them are new and they were much, much less expensive. And in that order of much less expensive, small, delicate jewelry, I got these. So again, these aren't gold, but I think that they are gold plated. And this is something that I have been on the lookout for a really long time, which is earrings that I can wear in my main holes. So I have 4 piercings in each lobe, and then I've got 2 cartilage piercings on this side. And in the 4 piercings on each lobe, I'll wear rings in the back 3 all the time. So I just leave them in there and I leave them in when I'm showering, when I'm sleeping. If you come to my house and you knock on the door and I open it, in my bathrobe, this is what my ears look like. I'll have all of the holes with earrings in them except for the front 2. I don't keep anything in the front holes in my lobes because I want to keep them open for more statement earrings. Whenever I'm about to film or go out or do anything, I put in an earring like this because I don't know if you can tell, but I love a statement earring. So I like to keep these front holes open for business. And that's partly because I like to keep them open for business, but it's also because I don't own anything that's in between a tiny minimalist huggy and a statement earring. It's all I own are statement earrings and those hoops. Sometimes I wear slightly smaller hoops and sometimes I wear big hoops. I wear those a lot, but those are not comfortable enough for me to just wear them around the house for no reason. Those hoops that you always see me in, I just put them on to film or to go out. I don't put them on at the beginning of the day just to wear them around because they get caught on stuff. It's not convenient to put a mask on my face and off and on and off when I'm wearing those hoops. So these I feel are amazing because they're a cross between a huggy hoop or they're a cross between this kind of thing that you can just leave in your ears and something that has a little bit more of a presence. I feel like they have movement. So, when I'm wearing them, I feel like my face has been given the sort of framing that a more statement earring gives a face. Like it just adds a little bit of something, draws attention, that glint of gold, that movement. But they're so contained and sturdy that I feel like I can shower in them, for example. I can put a mask on and off. They're like in between a hoop and a tiny, tiny huggy hoop. And you can also take off the little dangly part. Like I just took it off when I put that one on. So they can be even smaller than this if you want them to be. But I don't want them to be, so I'm putting it back on. So I am very pleased with these, and I'll definitely link these down below as well. I just feel like I'm going to be wearing them a lot. And sometimes I even have like a strong makeup look, or like my garment is making a strong statement and I don't really want to add a statement earring to it. But until now, my only choices have been leaving earrings out or wearing a statement earring, or like the very least statement that I could make would be my smaller size hoops. Even it's like they still have this sort of like presence, the silhouette on the ears. I just love that these are so much more innocuous than those, but without being so tiny that they're barely existing on my ears. Okay, I've got to go. I've been talking for like forever. I feel like I've been filming forever, and it's because I have been filming for kind of a long time. But this is fun. I love sharing my joy with you. I love sharing my taste with you. Brief reminder here at the end though, even though I love this stuff and it's obviously adding joy to my life, I in the past have fallen into the trap of thinking that buying stuff is the way to make me happier or the way to make my life better. And through some pretty painful trial and error, I learned that that's not true. So if some of this stuff has made you really excited and you feel like you'd like to have it too, and it will work for you and it's in your budget, then I'm really glad that I was able to share my discoveries with you or share my taste with you. But if you feel like your compulsion to shop or your desire to shop is coming from an unhealthy place, or is maybe out of control, or doesn't align with what you can actually afford, I really, really encourage you to sit yourself down and be honest with yourself about what will actually bring you health and joy. And with that, I'm going to go. Please remember, in line with what I just said, to take extra good care of yourself, whatever that really means, so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.